Hey everyone, so this is week 4 of PleinAirpril, and in today's video I'm going to go over how I painted this right here. And in general, it's been a pretty shitty week because I didn't realize how much I suck at perspective and buildings in general. And I also felt like I was giving myself very unrealistic goals trying to finish this all in 1 hour. Like I tried doing this one right here in 1 hour, and yeah, I wasn't able to finish it. And so all of these, I think I spent like around 2 hours or some shit. On this one, I felt like I spent, I don't know how long I spent. I spent too much time on this painting up here because there was a lot of like perspective involved in architecture and whatnot. So, but I do feel like I made some good progress. I really like this one and this one right here. I realized that small spaces were a lot more easier to paint than like larger spaces. And I wasn't even planning to do this one right here, but because it was the last day of the month and I just wanted to do something, I just really wanted to challenge myself with the last painting, so I ended up doing this. But yeah, in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this. It's a video that's filled with ups and downs. I had a lot of things happening in my favor, a lot of things not happening in my favor, so it's going to be a fun one. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so we're going to start with this piece. Now, when you're working on a piece like this where there's a little bit of perspective involved, you also have different windows, and you also have similar looking windows as well, and you got all these lines and stuff. It's always good to do a little bit of planning before you actually start painting all this, because you want to make sure you're not spending too much time just drawing each element. Like I feel like these windows up here, I could just make one and like duplicate it all the way across, because the shapes is pretty much the same. So like all of this is just one window. And then like things like this bar right here, you see repeating patterns here, you see a repeating pattern up here. That same pattern is repeated down here as well. And then we got like this exact same window, but like at a different angle. So what I'm gonna try to do is that as I'm working on this, when I'm done with my sketch, I'm gonna make separate windows so that I can just copy paste them. But the first thing that we need to do is we have to make a perspective grid over here. And usually you can find a lot of those brushes online, just a perspective grid brush. I have this right here that I like to use, and it's always, I definitely want to use a perspective grid. And I'm just gonna place it somewhere for now, and then I can adjust it later. Okay, and sometimes it can be hard to figure out where you want to place your grid, so I highly recommend taking your image, put it in Photoshop. I'm gonna resize this, and then now I'm gonna place my grid on top of this image, and I'm just gonna match it. But sometimes it can be hard to just like eyeball your perspective grid, especially like I'm also at a point where it's kind of hard for me to do that also. So now what I'm gonna do, lower my opacity of my image so that I can see everything better. Okay, so if you think about it, there's a grid going this way, and then there's a grid going this way as well. So we need two different grids. So let's see, I think this right here, I can probably... So first of all, I think it should be down here. Somewhere up here, I think. Let me stretch it. Oh, hold on. Let's see, the other way. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Something like that, and maybe I should raise this up a little bit. You just have to like, I would spend a few minutes just trying to make sure your grid looks fine, like it's working, because if you mess up your grid in the beginning, it's gonna mess everything up, like literally, and you don't want to be in that situation, because then it can get really hard to like fix it. And that's one of the reasons why I felt like I spent more than an hour on these, because the previous studies that I did, I spent maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, but on these I spent at least 2 hours on these, because it took me like a hot minute just getting my perspective grid right. And you know what, I totally forgot, but I should have drawn a horizon line as well, because then it would have been easier to get that grid. But anyways, put that down here. If it gets confusing, I highly recommend like choosing like different colors as well. So right now, if I hide, so this is kind of like what my grid looks like. It's pretty messy and can get really confusing to like see. So let's just change the color of this, lock my transparency, let's grab a hard round brush. I'm gonna make this blue. want to make sure my sketch, you know, the perspective won't be exactly like how it is on the reference image. It might be off a little bit, and if that's okay, as long as you're following your grid lines, you can make something that's good and believable. And there's a little bit of perspective going on upwards as well, but for now I'm just gonna keep everything straight because I don't want, like, you know, too much complexity right now. So let's just pull this right here and just think about like putting boxes in perspective, I guess. You also shift click, really helpful. Something like that maybe. And that's it. That's pretty much it. It's just one big box. There you go. That's the video. And so I think this ends around here. And right now I'm not really adding any detail, just like blocking out for now. And then let's see. And sometimes if it's like confusing, you can always like hide your grid lines and work on a specific one at a time. That's also a good way of doing it. Okay, so I did kind of figure out, so I had to push my building down a little bit. That's what kind of fixed it a little bit. But now since I moved it down, I'm gonna have to fix these areas. Well, not too much, I guess. They're okay. Just a little bit. You distort it a little bit. Yeah, so this is why, like, I feel like it's so hard, like getting these perspective drawings. For some people it's really easy. I just feel like I haven't done enough of these, which is really bad. Like I should have, you know, done a lot more of these because I do specialize in environments, and so it's really embarrassing that I'm kind of stuck with this. It's like almost 30 minutes now. See, this is exactly why I was spending like more time on this. Because the first painting that I did just looked like shit because I thought I could do it in an hour, but then I wasn't able to. So there's like another line going this way. This thing at the thing down here. There's another pole here. And there's just some stuff in the back. Yeah, and it's like I'm always like figuring out how to do all this as I'm painting it. I feel like that's why the whole PleinAirpril thing has been so helpful for me, because I've literally put myself in like really uncomfortable situations like this right now. but that's how you grow, you know. You want to like experiment with as many different styles, not styles, and like you want to like paint different things, paint different subject matters that you're not used to painting. Okay, so it's coming together. Okay, that's good. Oof, got a little nervous back there, guys. It's a dirty ass stick figure, but you know what, it's okay. Okay, so now I gotta do the windows. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. And they're all identical, so I can just make one window and then just duplicate it a bunch of times. See, I feel like my brush was so big, that's why I was making things like really big. Such an idiot. Okay. And then on the side we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we can just put like maybe 2 more here. Let's just do 4. I don't even know how long I'm gonna spend on this at this point. I guess we'll find out later when the drawing's all over. But let's start making my windows. Let's do that, hit that. Stroke, let's do maybe make that black. Maybe 5 pixels. Let's go back. Let's do 6. Let's do 8. Yeah, it's a good thickness. And then now, gonna that. make a new layer, stroke, pixels. I'm just gonna erase all this. Okay, so I got this. Go ahead and merge these. Control J, Control T. Make it a little bit bigger. Let's pull down a line right here. Pull a line down here. And here. So I got this window right here, and I'm just gonna go here and place it. Okay, bring my sketch back. I'm gonna see if I can place all these right here. You know, match it. Make sure it matches my perspective also. Something like this. Okay, so now let's do the top windows. I think I can just like duplicate them. Just fix my perspective. Let's distort it. Okay, nice. Okay, it's looking good actually. Oh my god. See, I think it's rewarding when you actually get it right. But I'm tired. Oh my god. It's been what? It's been like 50 minutes already, me just trying to figure out how to do this shit. So, yeah. Let's move on. I think in this particular case, I'd probably keep my line work on because there's way too many lines going around up here. And it's gonna benefit me having those lines. And probably put them on overlay or something. At the end of the day, I do want to keep it like a little bit loose at the same time. But I still want to make sure that everything like reads as well. Because I did another painting before this one and it was pretty loose and I feel like it wasn't reading as well as I wanted it to. So I want to make sure that it reads well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of. Okay, so we need 6 pieces. And can I use this somewhere else? Maybe I can reuse this asset down here also. Go ahead and resize this. I want to make sure the spacing is uniform. Okay, cool. Alright, so once again, just gonna merge all these. I can probably push these guys a little bit to the right. Control T. Alright guys, so after a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, we finally have some sort of line work up here. This took me so long, oh my god, you guys. But then again, I was taking my sweet time doing this because I wanted to make sure the perspective was right and everything. So now, oh, I forgot to draw this human up here. Okay, so now I can finally start painting. Like the computer is tired too. He's like, what the hell, man? Okay, so let's just start off with like okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put all of this line into one layer real quick. That way it's not cluttered up here. Make sure I save it as well. And this text and everything, I'll put it on later. I don't have to put it on right now. The lines, put that line on overlay. see what that does. Ooh, it becomes all red. Interesting. Let's keep it on that. We'll play around with that idea. Because I don't want it to be completely black. Okay, so I guess I'm pretty much done with this painting. I was having a lot of technical issues today, like nothing was working. My favorite Photoshop kept lagging, so while I was screen recording, it was lagging so much I couldn't paint shit. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and just break down my layers, and I'm gonna stop here because I'm having a long fucking day, and I'm just done with this piece of shit. So let's just go one by one on my layers. So first we had the line, so I changed my line to an overlay. It was originally a normal, that's what it fucking looked like. And then this was the base color up here, and then when I changed my blend mode from normal to overlay, I kind of get this nice, you know, red tint effect. It's totally not planned, I just fucking experimented, and then it just fucking worked out. And then I just started adding more colors. Had this layer up here. It just looked pretty fucking bad because, you know, the black lines are up here, and I just wanted to get rid of that. So in the end, I made another layer on top of my line layer, and then here I started like painting in some more colors just to like get rid of those lines up here. And then here I ended up using a multiply layer to just darken out some, you know, some of the corners so that you know, most of your attention is in the middle part right here. And then here I made another layer up here. I just thought I'd paint in some highlights, and then, you know, here's where like I actually, like if you look at this pole up here, I actually went ahead and just painted a little bit, you know, not a whole lot. And then on this layer I just went all fucking ham because I was like, dude, I just wanted some cool painterly effect. So I grabbed one of my brushes and just like, you know, put it all over the place, and then I just put some text on this box here. I wanted to do a lot more in this image, but like I'm just so fucking tired, you guys. Like, but hey, this was the last painting of the month, you know. I'm kind of sad that I wasn't able to do too much with this, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just gonna have to move on with my life now. But yeah, this was honestly a very fun challenge. I felt like I got to really get out of my comfort zone and paint things that I'm not used to painting, which is always a blessing at the end of the day. I'm just stressed out right now, but you know what, it's okay, you know, it's okay, it's not that serious. And I'm just so glad I did this challenge, you know, because at the end of the day, it is beneficial. It tells you I did come to realize a lot of my weaknesses, you know. And you know, I'm just glad that I did this, because now I know what things that I need to work on. The first 3 weeks was a breeze, is because those are all organic stuff, and you had mountains and, you know, trees and rocks, and you can make a lot of mistakes and get away with those. But when it comes to more architecture stuff, like organic stuff, not organic, sorry, like man-made stuff, you have to be a lot more careful, you know. And that's the one thing that I learned. And I also learned like how much I suck at drawing buildings. Like, this is something that I have to really work on. And this is one of the reasons why, you know, I just use 3D for my concept art, because man, this is not worth it. It's not worth it spending so many hours just like painting. And you know, I could have been done in 3D. Like, if I made this in 3D, I would have been done like within half of the time. But it's okay. It was still a good experience. I'm still glad I did this. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I appreciate everyone's support here. And sorry. So next video onwards, I'm gonna dive into more 3D stuff again because I'm tired of painting now. Also, because I'll be doing some classes as well in the summer, so I'll be just doing class homework and whatnot. But that should be all for today. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for coming by, and I will see you guys in the next one.